Hi Odooers, and welcome back to another video on taking your e-commerce store to the next level. Today we are focusing on the visual journey of your customers. Your shop's design is your digital storefront, and Odoo gives you all the tools to make it shine. From fine-tuning your product catalog's layout and image ratios to adding dynamic catalog blocks on any page of your site. We'll also explore how to build trust with professional footers and payment snippets, and dive deep into attributes to show you how to display colors, patterns, and variants exactly the way you want. Ready to give your shop a professional makeover? Then let's get started. So here I am on my product catalog page. To modify its appearance, we will click Edit, and then we will go to the Style tab. If I choose my product catalog, then we see that I have several options. So first, in the Shop Header section, I can choose to show the page title or not. You see that it disappears and it comes back again. And I can also choose to center it or not. But that's the easy part. Now let's display the products page section. Here I can adjust the width of my catalog, and I actually prefer it with a larger width, so I'll select this one. And now we will take a look at this product design menu. I will click on the paintbrush, and here I have access to a variety of settings to really tailor my product catalog to my liking. Let's first have a look at these presets. So when you hover on it, we'll go down a little bit, you see that the cards change in different ways to display your products. Now, I like all of them, but my favorite still is the thumbnail, so I will choose this one. Now in the general section below, I can add a hover effect. I could add a background, which means that when I hover on it, the background comes behind it, but I don't like it, so I will leave it as none. And we can also slide here, use a slider to configure the gap between the products, like this, but I'll leave it as it was. I can also configure the roundness by using the slider. I will leave it like this. Now in the text and content section, I would like to emphasize the product's title. So I will click on this little arrow and I will set the titles as bold. And below here in the images, I will test different image ratios. So now it is a square one, but if I hover over them, then you see that they change. I actually like the portrait one, so I'll take this one. And here you see that I activated the secondary image option. That means that when it's activated, if there is a product with several images, then when you hover over it, it changes to another image, like the fruit mug, for example. Finally, in the Actions section, you can decide whether or not to display buttons directly on the product card. Here, I decided to display the card on hover. So when I go on it, you see that the little card button is displayed on hover, only to keep a lighter design. Let's now go back to the previous menu, and you see that there are various other options listed here, but we already talked about them in the video about organizing your product catalog, so be sure to check that video out. We'll click Save, and there you go. Okay, now let's go to our homepage. And you can see that we made a beautiful catalog block, which is this one. This one displays your products on any other page than the shop page. To make this one, you just have to click on Edit, and then here in the Blocks tab, you can choose the catalog block. Just drag and drop it where you want it to be. Once you drop it, you have several template options that you can choose from. But I really like the first one, so I click on it, and just like that, it's placed on the home page. Once it's there, of course, you can click on it and customize this block according to your needs. For more information about building blocks, check the website video linked below. Now we're still on our home page, but we will scroll down and focus on the footer, which is this part right here. If we click on Edit, and then go to the Style tab and select the whole footer, well then we can choose from a variety of templates over here. You see that you can display your information in several ways. And there is one specific footer for e-commerce, which is the last one over here, which is also the one that we chose. Now this one displays, for example, reassurance messages and icons like this one, as well as payment options like this section. Now note that you can also display these payment methods to reassure your customers on other pages, not only on the footer. All you have to do is go to the Blocks tab, and then in the inner content, if you scroll down, you see that you have the supported payment methods. And for example, this one, you can just drag and drop it anywhere you want, and they appear just like this. Okay, now let's head to the Attributes page by clicking e-commerce and then Attributes. Here are all my attributes that I have on my website. I have 5 columns. First, the attribute, so this can be color, material, size, fruit, etc. Then I have the category. Now this one is useful to regroup similar attributes under the same section in the comparison page of e-commerce. We'll explain more about the comparison page in another video. The third column is about the display type that will be used in the product configurator. The fourth column is about variant creation. Instantly means that all possible variants are created as soon as the attribute and its values are added to a product. Dynamically means that each variant is created only when its corresponding attribute and values are added to a sales order. And never means that variants are never created for the attribute. Note that whether you choose instantly, dynamically, or never, you cannot change the type once the attribute is used on a product. Now, lastly, the fifth column is e-commerce visibility. This allows you to decide whether this attribute is visible or not on the website. But for now, let's click on the first attribute and let's see all of these possibilities further. Here, the display type is color, obviously. The variant creation is set to instantly, and as the attribute has already been used, you can't change it. See? First, let's take a look at the Attribute Values tab. So here you can add your color name in the value column. In the color column, you can fill your color by clicking on it, and here you can put your RGB codes, or by clicking on the little arrows, you can also add a hex code. In the image column, you can add an image if you wish to showcase specific textures or a pattern, for instance. And then you have a default extra price column, where you add an extra price for specific colors. And of course you have the trash icon to delete it. Now let's go to the e-commerce tab. Here you can add a category, as we explained before, and then you can decide whether this attribute is visible or not on the shop page, which you can see here. You can also decide to show the attribute on product cards, meaning that instantly created variants are selectable on the shop page directly on the product card. And you can also choose them to be visible permanently or on hover only or not at all. Finally, if you enable the Show Thumbnails option, well, then you can use the product variants images instead of the product display to show options. This all looks complicated, so let me show you. We'll go to the shop page and we will click on mugs. And here you have the perfect example with our signature stoneware mug, where the variants are displayed on the product card. If I hover over the variants, you see that the image changes. Now, if we go back on our product page and we stop at the fruit mug, then here you have an example of display but for patterns this time. Let's now focus on display types by going back to our attributes dashboard. We'll go to e-commerce and then back on attributes. And here we will click a new attribute. We will call it pattern, and then we will see what kind of display types we can use. You see that we can select various of them, but actually there's an easier method for me to show you that. Let's discard this one and let's go to our e-commerce. Now here you have all the filters on the shop. And you see that each of them are displayed in different ways. So first of all, the color. Let's see what type this one is. If we go here on color, we see that the type is, well, color, because we have specified here what kind of color is linked to this value. Then we see that we have material. Now this material here is the pills display type, and that looks like this. For the size, where you can just select them, you see that we have the radio style. Now the fruit one is the image style, and that you can see because here in image we have added several images, one per value. And then we have finally the gift one, which is a select display type. And that's it for this video. Make sure to read our online documentation for more information, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.